the NCR questline was more a collection of look at the cool shit we can do, as opposed to look at the cool story that you can experience. I mean, you can make a cool story and then still have like cool moments in there, which they did initially. The start of the story is arguably, one of the better parts, because that's when it still, oddly makes sense.
Careful now.
Yeah, I never really got far in the mod.
I mean, they have you like fucking drive around a fucking tank, and it looks and it feels and plays really like really well, like surprisingly well. And I would like to have seen more of that as opposed to more of the acid trip.
Yes, I leveled up.
Thanks. That was a bit weird.
Fair.
I also, at some point, and this is one of those like little writing quirks that sometimes games do and sometimes movies and shows do that really just gets to me, is the use of convenience to drive your plot. So one example is during the fucking main quest line, you have to go to, like, it's, a fucking space station, and you basically have this Mothership Zeta experience. It's just the weirdest fucking shit. Really fucking impressive, but just the weirdest fucking shit.
Don't let it get away.
And it's been established. You can look out the window and you see that the Earth like rotating around and spinning around and just looking really cool and shit. And it's been established that this station is like, well, in space. It's kind of obvious. And then when the space station explodes, the big baddie fucking leaves with a space shuttle, and you have to chase him with your own space shuttle. You have this like space dogfight, which again, like when it comes to scripting, like this is a fucking piece of art. Like it's really impressive that they managed to squeeze this into the engine. The problem is, it doesn't make like a sense.
Yeah, that's a hard task. Like, is it part of the story, or is it just tacked on?
It's just stacked up. It basically became them looking at the community and telling them, look at what we can do. Look at the cool shit we can make.
Yeah, but if it doesn't have anything to do with the mod that you're actually trying to make, then put it in a separate mod.
Yep. But, okay, so you chase down this big baddie because he has some sort of detonator for a super laser weapon. The super laser weapon is the space station that's partly blown up, but the laser is still, there. And you blow him out the sky, and then you return back to Earth, back to the frontier, which is, this. When you look at the planet as a whole, the frontier isn't that big of a place. And lo and behold, the fucking detonator that the big baddie in the shuttle had, fell all the way down to Earth, exactly straight back into the frontier, and just so happens to land in the Legion's main camp. Guess where you're going to go have fight now? And I'm just sitting there to myself thinking, what are the fucking odds of that happening?
Very fucking small.
That's so fucking convenient, isn't it? And you just start taking the story less and less seriously the more it goes on. And this is before you have the fucking big brain trip.
Keep at it, Yukiko!
But anyway, so they're, like I said, they're going back and they're basically rewriting the entire, NCR questline. So
sounds like a decent as well.
There's that to look. I mean, the Legion's questline is actually surprisingly really good. It's arguably the best way to enjoy the frontier now is to just play a Legion character. That I haven't actually played it, but I've seen a playthrough of it. Like in the various reviews of the frontier, they've all talked about it. Yeah, the Legion questline is probably the main questline. For if you want to play Call of Duty, play the NCR questline. If you want to play New Vegas, play the Legion questline. Which I would have been interested in if the Legion in the vanilla game wasn't really lame. I mean, the NCR is really not too fucking amazing either, but at least I can kind of relate to them a little bit more.
Yeah, the
Legion's just straight up fucking evil for the sake of being evil.
I mean, I like being evil, but
I mean, if there's a genuine reason for it, one of the companions you can get in the frontier is actually a girl that's with the Enclave. Now you know what the Enclave is. They're not generally looked at as being amazing people.
I love her.
This girl actually is quite cool, and she kind of explains, the Enclave's reasoning. behind doing things. And you can actually find, you know, Enclave remnants in New Vegas, and they're genuinely cool people that just, you know, they thought that they were trying to do the right thing, and they stand by that. I was like, yeah, that makes the evil faction look enticing.
All right, I leveled up.
Legionaries just don't give a shit. They just want to kill and rape. That's that whole thing.
Yeah, I remember.
And the NCR, you know, they're not a perfect bunch. They're probably the most corrupt group in, well, the entire fucking universe. But at least, you know, whenever you talk to an NCR soldier, you understand that they're not evil people. They're trying to do the best thing here. But, you know, the world's not perfect. Their leaders probably aren't perfect. But they, you know, they are genuinely trying to do the right thing. Which makes them interesting. If they were, like, completely perfect, that also wouldn't have been particularly interesting. The fact that they are flawed, you know, that makes it nice. But the Legion, if they had like a few like good points as to why someone would join them, I would have been fine with rolling a Legion character. But at least now, you know, yeah, we really have to make just the most biggest psychopath in order to really join the Legion.
Not that that's hard for me.
I mean, you could basically just put yourself in.
Yeah.
You're like, slavery? Yes, please. And then, you get a
can
collar,
it be...
and then you get a collar on your neck. And you're like, wait a minute, that's not what I meant.
Slavery, yes. Let's do it.
It's only the right kind of slavery, not, you know.
Space slavery, the one in Elite Dangerous.
There's one enemy.
Yes, exactly.
Hang in there.
Which I do have installed again. I'm going to see if the game actually works again. Because last time the game would just crash on startup.
Well, that's
It's
not great.
going down.
One enemy to go. Keep it up.
Yeah, I mean, I've been kind of not really following the developments in the lead for a while now, but every big, you know, sometimes a big headline, you know, comes up in my YouTube feed or whatever. And it really looks as if Elite is kind of preparing for like a full-scale war between, you know, the humans and the Targoids. Like there's straight up motherships that have been spotted, like those big colossal motherships that are coming towards our galaxy. Which
Fun.
I've seen them, and the entire idea sounds cool as shit. I'm not gonna lie. The problem is that, you know, they've been teasing at this for fucking months now, because you can't really see the ships like up close. You can kind of see them coming at you from like deep space. So whenever you go like to the edges of our galaxy, you'll be able to obviously see the star map around you. But you know, the closer you get to the actual edges, the less stars that you'll be seeing. But then there's this big like green moving dot that's kind of rotating. And then when you scan it, you can hear clear like Targoid noises. And there's multiple of these, and they're becoming bigger every so often. So that's kind of, you know, tells us that they're not becoming bigger, they're coming towards us.
I'd expect you, senpai.
And there's about, I think, 7 of these that are coming towards the galaxy right now.
Guys, hang in there.
Damn.
Which, I mean, it sounds pretty fucking cool. Like that's a really well implemented like tease for your next like expansion or whatever, or at least update to the expansion. If they fucking release this as an expansion, I will flip my shit. I don't think they will.
No, because this is the main story. If they were to do this, then...
Yeah.
Did that do it?
It's like, your galaxy's under attack. Please give us $20 in order to defend it. It's like, wait, what?
That took forever.
Yeah,
that'd be such an EA move.
yeah,
They'd
I would
invade your
completely
country.
drop.
EA would invade your country and make you pay for fighting them. But
Congrats,
but
senpai.
yeah, so at least this, you know, this does sound pretty cool. The only thing I'm hoping is that they'll
You okay,
kind
Yosuke
of
sen?
re-specialize the way they do anti-Targoid combat, because, you know, right now, in order to really effectively fight Targoids, you have to be, well, one, really fucking good, and also have to use these very specific kind of weapons, and it's just, yeah. You really have to really specialize in order to do it. You can't really like fight Targoids, but also do something else. You really have to just go all in for the Targoids.
Yeah, fuck that.
And I'm thinking that, you know, the Targoids that we've been seeing so far, the big round flower things, they've been dedicated scouts the entire time. That's the whole fucking point.
There are 3 enemies.
So that's the whole reason as to why they're here. They're trying to probe out, you know,
How about that?
what our galaxy is all about. And obviously, what's happening here is that we got the main bulk of the Targoid force that's gonna come in and say hello. So the odds are that these ships and whatever that they're going to be bringing with them are probably different. Much different. I mean, I've seen
Three
some
enemies on the
concept
field.
art suddenly
Be
pop
careful.
up from official sources with Targoid vessels that look nothing like the ones we've seen. They look really cool, which are probably like the all the less specialized,
Okay,
more
let's go.
just straight up fighting units that the Targoids have. So I'm hoping that because war is war, that these ships are actually less difficult to fight. Because that's always what it ends up like in any big war. So this is like the one of the main arguments that's happened in World War II as well. That's when you have two polar opposites of the war. You've got the Germans and you've got the Americans /
There are
Russians,
2 enemies.
which
Careful
both
now.
kind of use the same method to their
Alright,
madness.
guys,
And the
pile on.
Germans,
We're not
what they
doing
did, they did quality over
So
quantity.
who's next in line for
They
a
made the
stomp?
best fucking equipment, the best fucking tanks, the best planes, but they didn't have as many of them, and they got fucking swarmed. Because what the Americans and the Russians did, they made a lot more fucking tanks and equipment and shit. They were obviously on a one-on-one fight, not gonna win, probably. Hopefully.
There are 3 enemies. Don't get
But-
cocky.
They were good enough to get the job done, which is probably what any military fighting force usually does. So I'm hoping that the Targoids do something similar, so that the main bulk fighting force, everyone gets to kind of chime in at. You can just use your normal PvE ship to get that thing done.
Yeah, you would assume that that's good enough.
I mean, that's one. It makes a lot of sense, lore-wise as well, as to why the main fighting ship actually wouldn't be too difficult to fight. At least not in comparison to the specialized like scouts. That the scouts are always purpose-built to not die. So
Yep.
it makes sense.
But not just
And-
this. If we are indeed at war and there's like Targoids everywhere, like, okay, fun. But like, if everyone has to suddenly specialize in like the shit to defeat them, like, how many people do you think are actually on to do that? I think more people would just immediately drop the game.
Yeah. Probably. I'm hoping also is that they'll bring this
Two
into
enemies on the
the
field.
first-person like space feat gameplay loop as well, like having to fight Targoids. Imagine having to like defend a settlement from an incoming Targoid attack, or like reclaim it. So you go into the settlement, it's like completely dark. There's Targoids everywhere, which kind of changes the landscape a bit. It looks a bit like almost like a horror situation that you're going into. Sounds cool as shit. And at least, I think one of the problems of the over-specialization that when it comes to dealing with Targoids right now is that the Targoids just aren't really a threat. They aren't really a gameplay loop that you have to that you really get something out of. You have to go out of your way to kill Targoids for the sake of killing Targoids, but you don't really get much out of it. I mean, you get a decent chunk of money, but nothing to really write home about. It's just about better than the main,
That went
combat,
well.
money earning
Does it-
prospect.
does-
which
does it
isn't
help
great
you-
to begin with?
Is it better to hunt Targoids than just AI, than just a regular AI? If you look at the ranking,
It used to be, but not anymore.
so
So-
what's the point then?
Well, you see that they used to have like smaller interceptors, which were these were the Targoids that you could kill with basically anything. Still a bit of a tough fight, but nothing impossible.
Don't let it get away.
And killing these would count for killing at least like 3 or so elite NPCs, and you could fight them pretty easily. So that was how most people actually grinded their rank of the day. Problem is that when Frontier found out, they were like no, and now they earn less than 1 elite NPC.
Wow.
Yeah.
Hey, it ran away.
And all the other, like the bigger, like the really difficult Targoids to fight, is yeah, they earn you quite a bit of EXP towards, you know, your rank. The problem is that these fights can take so fucking long that you're still better off. Like rank percentage for your time spent, you're still better off hunting NPCs.
Yeah, then I will probably do that in one of our systems because we still have 2, right?
Yeah, I mean, I think so. I wouldn't be surprised if we've been absolutely destroyed by this point. Let me take a
More
look.
enemies on the field. Get sight.
This last time we switched to our new system and then we basically stopped playing the game. That was nice.
Yeah, that was around the same time indeed.
But yeah, so I'm thinking that obviously because there's little to no reason to fight Targoids right now anyway, that combined with the whole over specialization is kind of the biggest issue. What I'm thinking is that obviously when this invasion does happen, whenever it does occur, obviously there'll be a much bigger reason to fight Targoids. Like this will be a big main gameplay loop. So suddenly the over specialization probably isn't that much of a hurdle, because if you specialize against Targoid combat, there are so many of the fucking things, with probably like missions and little side missions and objectives to come alongside with the invasion to really turn it into a proper gameplay loop,
2 enemies on the field.
making it less of an issue.
Yeah, then sure, but like even then, I hope that the combat is not
Keep
the
it
most
up.
difficult.
No,
Because
it probably won't be.
Because if they are going to make it way hard to like fight them, and like if they are going to force stats to main gameplay loop, then I feel like it really lost the point of like you pretty much being able to do whatever you want.
Yeah. Okay, but yeah, so I think it's safe to say that we should probably just forget about our player group at this point.
Okay, what happened to the other system? Are we kicked out of there?
Yep.
Well,
We're still back in Zalada right now, and I'm pretty sure that if I go back to that other group and say like, "Hey guys, can you help us again?" They're gonna like, "Yeah, go fuck yourself. We did that, and now we put all that effort in, and you guys just fucking nothing with it.
Woo, you're up.
Now go fuck yourself. We're done." And you know what? I wouldn't even blame them. We did like give up the second we got what we wanted, and now we're fucked. Mostly because, you know, Elite turned out to be a piece of shite game, but you know.
yeah. The game really just... Yeah.
Yeah, we just...
But like, we also played for a couple of months back to back.
That too. Such a grind on top of, you know, all the disappointment of Odyssey that's kind of started to wear us down.
Good answer.
Places, everyone. And
Internship for me started.
go.
Yeah, so yeah, you know what? I mean, the player group, I mean, it was nice, but yeah, fuck it. I can't be fucked anymore.
Yeah, fair.
It's not like it really gave us anything, you know, too amazing either anyway. Like, yeah, we had our name on the station, but that's about it. We can't really, like, control it or anything like that. So, you know, that's fair. I'm done.
Yeah. It was nice while it lasted, though.
Yeah, it was kind of nice, but yeah, if it gave us anything like worthwhile, then maybe I'll look into getting it again, or just getting a new one somewhere else. Because I'm pretty sure that the Finns would absolutely smash us into paste if we came back now. They're so done with us.
What's its problem?
And not just that, like the other group as well that came into Salada.
Yeah.
It ran away. The nerve of that thing.
I'm pissed now.
Yeah, so I mean, I haven't really planned on going back to Elite for at least until some more credible news about that invasion is gonna come in, like when it actually starts, you know, being implementable with gameplay. For now, it's just, yeah, we'll wait. Because I'm not just terrified, I'm convinced that this will be a much lamer thing that we're making it out to be. Every single time I've had high expectations for Elite, it's shattered it. And this, you know, it's sounding It's sounding like a cool thing that's gonna happen, which means it's probably gonna suck.
Because that's how the loop has been for the past couple of years.
Yeah. I mean, we haven't seen new ships fucking God knows how long. Which is kind of a funny thing to say in a space game about spaceships. Give us something new. They've been hinting at new ships for fuck knows how long.
There are
Still
4
haven't seen
enemies. Keep your guard up.
It'd be kind of nice to have some new ships. In fact, I'd be completely cool with them adding a bunch of new ships that are really fucking goddamn expensive, just so that I can actually use my fucking credits for once.
Same.
Have a reason to play the game again, because I'm sitting in the multi-billions right now, literally, because I buy my money nowadays.
Oh yeah, I remember.
Still funny that that's a market now, but oh well.
Yeah, I have still not done that.
I mean, to be honest, I grinded out enough fucking credits to buy the fleet carrier, to buy all the ships in the game, and then some. I just can't be fucked anymore.
Yeah, fair.
Because I've been this fucking expensive piece of shit has been sucking my wallet dry. Because it costs you upkeep money while you're not actually playing the game. So I just bought myself a shit ton of credits so like I'm not in any worry about losing my fucking carrier while I'm boycotting the game. Because while I'm boycotting the game, I'm still preparing to come back to the game eventually. It's still Elite Dangerous after all. It is still arguably one of my all-time favorite games, which I really don't want to admit anymore, but still is.
I mean, if you look on your Steam, it is still literally still saying it's your favorite. So
yeah, I mean, it's a game I think I still put the most hours into it. I mean, overall, I think Skyrim has it beat, but that's because it doesn't show it because of all the different versions of the game.
yeah, that's another thing. That's
I also have to tie in the fact that I played it for a fuck ton of time, like on the console, which obviously, isn't translated into Steam.
yep, same.
Yeah. But yeah, I probably put a lot more hours into Skyrim overall than Elite. But so I'm just really hoping that eventually, the developers of Elite are kind of going to make good on, I wouldn't say their promises, but just make good on the potential of Elite, because that's always been the biggest issue here. That the game has a fuck ton of potential, but it's never ever been realized.
Yeah,
Which is just comical. All of the shit that the community's been saying has not been listened to whatsoever. But credit where credit
we are
is
the
due.
game developers. We know what's
Yeah.
best. We
But
don't.
at least, credit where credit is due. They've been rehiring some older positions, so they basically fired people. That's how they worded it. We're rehiring something. That means that some idiot got fired and now they want someone new for the job. And one of the positions was lead gameplay designer, which, I mean, this was basically like a month after Odyssey came out. And if you're sacking your lead gameplay designer and replacing him a month after
There are
your
2
expansion
enemies.
that
Careful
wasn't
now.
perceived well came out, yeah, guess who was probably responsible for this mess? Yeah, that's the guy that got sacked.
Oh man,
Yep.
oh man.
So that at least that kind of goes to show that yep, they realize that the situation that they're in, and they want to at least try to fix it. And now we've got this big story of gameplay event that's kind of starting out, which could lead into something really cool, like a completely new gameplay loop. Which is kind of what not what I've been wanting, but at least one step in the right direction. Adding some content to the fucking game, because Odyssey really lacked content when it first came out.
Yup.
I mean, it still has a lot of unfinished content. I mean, there's this whole like going on planets and scanning plants gameplay loop. That's just the single most waste of time ever. The fact it has a rank is just laughable.
Yep.
I mean, I really owe it to myself to eventually, grind out that fucking rank, but
We should do it at the same time then.
yeah.
There are 5 enemies. Don't let
See,
them
I've
get you.
just gotten into the game after gotten so long. Yeah, I've got my 5.5 billion still in my pocket, so that's good. understanding the target roar. Yeah, that's what's happening now.
Hey, my persona once again leveled up because I found myself a level up card. Oh yeah, once you defeat enemies, there's a chance you get like a set of cards. You can select one of them. And that could be, it could be a level up, it could be just a stat up, it could be an item. You could get another
Three
extra
enemies
persona.
on the field. Be careful.
Do I get a draw after this battle?
Oh,
Hopefully I do.
piss.
What?
Oh shit. I forgot I kind of left lead abruptly last time. So what I usually do is when I decide to not play Elite for a while, I suspend most of my carrier services so that my upkeep price isn't
Truly.
the price of an Anaconda. And it's been sitting on 26 million credits per week for God knows how long now. Which is a lot. That's pretty much almost max price for a carrier.
Yikes.
So, I mean, it still has about 500 million credits in its balance, so it wouldn't have run out anytime soon, considering I've got 5.5 billion in my pocket at the moment. But, yeah, that's several hundred million credits that I've just pissed away,
Wasted.
basically.
So you can see this. You know the stream open, I assume, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Alright, so I have 5 cards in front of me right now. And I can just select which I want, which is 2 more means I can draw 2 more cards. However, this one also gives me half experience, XP up, change to Arcana, which I might go for, or change to Persona, or avoid encounters. I tend to go for the XP up. That is my
Alright.
currently most important point. Like, it's not that I'm underleveled, but it's nice to be a little bit overleveled, because the next dungeon happens, I don't know when, and I don't know when the next, you know, next important fight happens.
Yeah.
Like, there's a summer vacation in-game coming
Three
up,
enemies. Don't get cocky.
but that's all that I know.
Go for it, guy. All right.
So I'm just grinding up money and levels. In not even the highest dungeon that I can go into. There's one above this. But I'm specifically going through this dungeon because I know that this dungeon has something that I need. Because one of the achievements is reading all the
4
books.
enemies on the field.
To get one of the books, I need hard boots. To get the hard boots, I need 5 of one type of item, which can only be received from
Hang in there.
a very specific enemy in this dungeon. So I need to just keep on grinding out this dungeon. Now I know also which item I need and which enemies I need to farm. I need to farm specifically the enemies that look red instead of, you know, black.
Alright.
Yeah, because they have a chance to spawn the dancing hand, or dancing hand, which other enemies or other group or the darker colored enemies don't.
Alright.
So yeah, my gameplay loop is just going to the dungeon back to back, opening all the chests and just leaving, then going back to the first floor and just going in again.
4 enemies on the field. Get sight.
But I think Persona 3 did the dungeons better.
All right.
Because Persona 3 was one big dungeon of over 250 floors.
Damn.
And I've gone through that entire monstrosity. I mean, you're forced to for the storyline, but still. Hey, red enemy! And it doesn't have the one I need!
There are 3
Fuck!
enemies. Don't get cocky.
How dare you?
Just what I'd expect, Jason.
Yeah, yeah. I need the one specific enemy. This is the sadly enough the type of grinding that happens in Persona.
Senpai. Keep it up.
Don't think. Feel.
Yep, 2 life follows, that's it. But not what I needed. I need thick heights. Is it heights? Yeah, I need thick heights from dancing hands. I only have 2 with me right now. I might have already given him 3, but I'm much rather, you know, keep on grinding and make sure I've got 5 now. Especially since I don't know when I can grind again. Like, the summification means that the game is pretty much going to just forward in time and with the storyline, but it's not going to let you do a lot. It's going to be mostly conversations. So I just better now grind as much as possible.
All right, let's keep going.
Ooh, chest. Locked. Don't have a key. Okay. Ah, this game is a grind fest.
This game is a grind first.
Yeah, it's not as bad as Elite, but still.
There are 4 enemies. You get to go first.
The chance that you complete this game in less than 50 hours is quite
Go for
small.
it, guys. Hang in there.
Yeah. Oh, God damn. This is the problem. Every time I go back into Elite, even if I'm just testing something, I just look at the ships, I look at the station, I'm like, damn, this is just so cool. I mean, I'm looking at my fucking like Imperial Cutter right now, thinking to myself, fuck, I missed this thing. But at the same time, I don't. But when I'm looking at it, it's like, damn, this thing is just the coolest thing in space. And I look in my Corvette, I'm like, damn, this thing is even cooler. What the fuck?
There are 2 enemies. Careful
Just
now.
looking at the ship sometimes gets me excited about playing the fucking game. But
Go get him. Go, go, go.
I mean, that was one of
Okay.
the,
Is everyone ready? Get
you know,
set.
the
Yeah, here goes.
no,
Go.
not even one of the,
Beat 'em
probably
up.
the single most fun experience in Elite was kind of just that initial grind. And you still have, you know, shit to unlock and you know, buy. And endgame content has kind of always been a bottleneck for Elite. Probably because most of the developers didn't really anticipate, you know, people really reaching that endgame that quickly. The problem is that Elite has kind of been following on its face for the last, you know, year. So, you know, the influx of new players has been kind of low. And new players is what you need to, you know, have people to kind of go through that initial grind again.
Beat it to a pulp.
If you're not,
Keep going, guys.
if you're not planning on giving anything to your, you know, your loyal players that have been playing for years, if their endgame can go fuck itself, then you need, you know, new people to, you know, come into your game. But they haven't had that. They've pretty much only had the veteran players, and we've not really had much to do. So you got the worst of both worlds, basically.
Yep.
Now I'm thinking that, and I really kind of hope this. I mean, I know that, you know, some people are gonna get bummed out by this if it happens to be the case, but I really kind of want this, you know, war with the Targoids to be an expensive fucking thing, right? Like I want it to be difficult, that only like the best ships humanity has to offer can, you know, maybe stand a chance against them. That gives, you know, the veteran players like a fucking status in the universe and a fucking reason to spend those fucking credits that we've been building up. Like if I could turn one of my ships into the ultimate, you know, fucking Targoid slaying machine, and it's gonna cost me about 3 billion credits, I'm completely fine with that.
I'll probably buy a new ship for that. Or I get one of my other ships and actually purpose it for that.
Yeah. But, you know, I'd be completely fine with this because, one, you know, I know that this is not something everyone can do, so it kind of makes me feel rewarded for having put in all that time the last few years. I
Yeah,
mean,
fair.
yeah, obviously, I'm not saying that people should be excluded from this. Obviously, anyone should be able to try their hand at this, but only like the single most expensive ships
2 enemies on the
can actually,
field.
go
Crush
up
'em.
against, the bigger enemy here, the bigger
Alright,
fish.
guys,
We can only
come
catch
on.
the biggest
Ready?
fish.
Yeah.
Let's do it!
They have like if you have like a small ship, have like those work well against like some of the smaller enemies. But have the big fish go for like way bigger ships as well.
Yeah, and obviously have that, give us some more interesting rewards. One that gives newer players a good reason to invest time into the game by wanting to achieve, the standards that we've got, and it gives us some final like reward for all the fucking effort we've put in. Like we really get to be top dog out there for a while, which is gonna be funny because at the current player base, pretty much everyone is going to be top dog out there until those new players come in. It's the same thing that happened when fleet carriers were introduced. The developers were like, yeah, you'll see a handful of fleet carriers around the galaxy, signifying that those people really put the time and effort in.
There are 3
Next
No.
day,
Don't
you
be
see
cocky.
dozens of them in every single system.
Yeah, you see them literally
Beat it to a
everywhere.
pulp. Keep going,
Yeah.
guys.
They are fucking everywhere.
Let's attack with
This
all
kind of
the
just
readies.
really
Places,
goes to show that
everyone.
the
And
majority of the
you can
community
count
have
on me.
billions of
Go,
credits laying
hit it
around.
out.
And I guess that, at least from the game developers' perspective, the fleet carriers introduction was a really good thing, because that kind of it put a massive dent into everyone's wallet, giving us a reason to grind money again. And it amplified that reason by having the money slowly drain out with upkeep costs. I get where they were going. I honestly, like, as much as I complained about it at the time, and I will still continue to complain about it, I at least
God.
understand as to why they did it. It's a reason to keep us veterans entertained. Problem
Fair.
is that buying a fleet carrier should have felt like a reward as opposed to a fucking detriment to our
5
enjoyment of the
enemies on
game.
field.
Oh
Crush
god,
'em.
I just got reminded of something.
Well,
Just the way you went back in the day, like during one of the streams as well, about specifically everyone on like stations like screaming, like, "Hey, you want to do some illegal shit?"
oh god, yeah. Fuck.
You literally
Thank you.
killed me at the time. I was laughing so hard.
Yeah, that was the NPC. Oh, the mission givers. Yeah, it's like, hey,
Yeah.
hey, come over here. I need to tell you something secret, but be quiet about it. You want to do some illegal shit?
Hey, hey!
And you're just-
I
and
only
you're-
needed to do some illegal shit.
And you're standing there like, hush, dude, shut the fuck up. They can hear you. I don't give a shit. You want to murder somebody? Oh, hey there, officer.
Yeah, I remember that.
Like, you can't go 20 fucking feet without one of those one of those hubs without, being basically, Jory Raw in fucking Skyrim, like Solitude, the guy that the Argonian is always like, hey, stranger, come over here. I got an interesting idea for you. Well, fucking putting out a lighthouse or whatever. That's
Yeah,
basically
it's
every
curated
single
shit.
NPC. Yeah, that's every single NPC in a fucking Elite Dangerous terminal. You should see me when you get bored, stranger. And you're like, no, shut the fuck up.
Yeah, then you have to go for his sister or something.
Yeah.
And you get
they end up
nothing.
murdering the entire crew, and you have to basically go to their hideout and fuck them all up.
Two
Yep.
enemies on the field.
Good
Crush 'em.
time.
Fucking even I remember that Skyrim quest.
Places, everyone. And
Yeah.
action. No escape. Go.
But yeah, so I
Knock
mean,
it out.
I think, and I've been out of the loop for Elite for God knows how long, basically since we stopped playing. Like, I properly
Yeah,
gave up
same.
on Elite for a while. But I know that there's been a few updates that have added new mission types and all that. I think actual like settlement raiding and settlement defenses are now a thing, which
Ooh.
oddly enough, they are the kind of missions that I really would have liked to have seen. And I think
3
I
enemies
really
on
have
the
to
field.
look up
Be
the
careful.
specifics for this. But I'm pretty sure that they managed to find a way to get like smaller combined warfare in those missions. So they've got actually, like, you've got enemy SRVs that are going to be coming in to like raid the settlement while you're defending it, and vice versa.
Oh.
Giving like more like a circle of war kind of type deal. Because obviously we still have, and this is the dumbest thing, but I kind of understand why they've had to do it, is that spaceships in ground battles are practically useless. Because any guy with a tier 5 rifle can basically shoot a fucking Imperial cutter out the sky, which just makes absolutely no sense.
Yeah.
But I understand why they had to put a system like that in, because otherwise a guy with the Imperial cutter would just absolutely destroy the entire fucking surface conflict. Which kind of goes against the whole point as to being a surface conflict.
Yeah.
So
fair.
I understand why. I don't particularly agree. I think it would have been a lot cooler. And I think that they have done something like this. I mean, I know that they put the anti-ship turrets down to kind of ward off the spaceships, and then, you know, someone else can come and put
Are
them
you ready?
out of action so that the spaceships aren't completely destroyed by the outpost. And at that point, the spaceships get to go ham. And they get to feel powerful. Because they are. They are much more powerful than a dinky little fucking rifle. There's no way you could even blow up a sidewinder, let's be honest. Maybe
Yeah,
with the missile
fair.
launcher. But these things are big giant pieces of metal. No, that's not happening. And a fucking like something like a cutter or like a fucking Corvette. There's no chance in 7 shits that anything that you can physically hold, if it's light enough to hold, it's not gonna put a dent in the ship.
Fair.
Like those massive fucking like AA turrets that are on the surface. Those I can reasonably believe that yep, they could probably make my day a little short if I linger around too long. And that kind of gives off that gives like a good cool gameplay loop where, in order for the ship to come in and kind of finish the fight or be of use, someone has to turn those AA guns off. Gives us a reason as to why the ship can't immediately curb stomp everything. Someone still has to go down and, you know, fight the enemy.
Yeah.
After which then the ship can come in and blow shit up, drop SRVs, you know, get more reinforcements in, or whatever. Because that was one of the biggest issues with Odyssey right out the gates, is that the combat didn't feel like a combined arms thing. It was kind of like a bubble fight. Like the ships were doing their own thing and the ground soldiers were doing their own thing. SRVs were kind of in the same ball that the ships were in, is that they were just massive targets and anyone with a pistol could destroy you. So they were not really too useful. They were more of a risk than anything else.
Fair.
It's easier to die in an SRV than to die, you know, without one. And I think that they have made steps to kind of get that combined arms effect, you know, a little bit more working. Despite, you know, because I don't think there's much you can do without completely reworking the systems that are in play. But they tried to rebalance things, so, you know, good job, I guess, with the new mission types, and hopefully this new like ground invasion that's gonna come alongside the space invasion with the Targoids. Yeah, we're looking into like a good little fresh breath of air into Odyssey. Like that, I mean, if they implement like a whole like war with the Targoids, which also goes on land. If they don't, that will be the biggest fuck up in history. But I mean, that's kind of been the lead's track record so far. But if they do something like that, that is a massive new gameplay loop added to Odyssey. Like that's the scale of something like that would be astronomical, because there'll obviously be something. It'll be tied into like the background simulation, so this could spread over multiple like star systems and stations in a system and all that. Like this has the potential of being really dynamic and really cool. So should have probably been there at launch, but it wasn't. But now that it's coming, you know, this is arguably one of the bigger things that Odyssey needs to get a lot of people back. The second thing, and this should have been the first fucking thing, should have been there at release, is fucking spaceship interiors, please. How long do we have to fucking beg for fucking interiors? For the love of all that's fucking holy.
Fair.
That single argument has been there since the game's release basically. And yet again, there are so many, you know, things that you could probably tie in with ship interiors, like having your own crew, which would give you more bonuses, which would also probably, you have to pay a salary, makes sense. Gives you a reason to, come back to the game every so often.
Yeah, fair.
But I mean, and I know people will get very toxic about this because that's kind of what the fleet carrier did, is by making you pay an upkeep cost, basically. The problem is that the fleet carrier doesn't really give you really anything substantial as a reward for buying it. Like, yeah, it's a cool bragging right thing, but that's pretty much it.
Well,
I know
you
that
can
now,
you can give me money with it.
yeah, I mean, there's a few other things. They've added like the new bar and the other shops to the fleet carrier now too, which is pretty cool. But at least initially, it was kind of useless. And if they do something like a ship crew that you have to pay a salary for, obviously the best way to do it is to give them a straight up buff to your ship. Like, you aren't paying for the sake of having the crew, you're paying for the buff that they're giving you. Like the increase in efficiency or the automated tasks or whatever. Like every so often, like I think it with this idea that your ship can malfunction if you don't maintain it properly, like your engine bay would snuff out or just produce less power for a while until it's fixed. Normally, you'd probably have to go down yourself, fix it if you don't have a crew, which is easier to do on the smaller ships, obviously.
Yeah, the smaller ships that practically don't have a crew.
They practically just have an engine and a hull, and that's about it. You have to go down one flight of stairs and you're there.
Yep.
But then obviously and then maybe there's like a leveling system. There's skills you can learn. It's including engineering, maintenance, or whatever.
I would absolutely grind those out.
Which would obviously help increase your own ability to fix your ship. Which means on the smaller ships you might not even need a crew. Like, it's a choice you can make. But then on the bigger ships, obviously, the whole running around fixing your ship thing becomes more of a hassle, considering that they're fucking massive. Which one is an actual con as to buying a big ship? Because right now there really isn't a con for buying a big ship. They are just the end all be all. Everyone wants these kind of things. There's no big cons. They're just one big ass fucking improvement over whichever ship you had at the time. Yeah, you can't go to medium-sized outposts, but who gives a fuck about those? Let's be honest, no one does.
Yep.
So that would at least give you more of a reason as to maybe main a smaller ship, depending on your playstyle, obviously. And if you really have credits just laying around, yeah, you get a big ship, get a big fucking crew, and then you can upgrade said crew and at least, get a small buff. But at the minimum, you can then make sure that whenever your ship has a malfunction, your assigned crew will just go and fix it for you. And to add even more depth to this, like each individual crew could have like a specialization or whatever. Obviously, you'd have like your engine crew, your turret crew, your fighter, your medical crew for whenever you come back wounded as shit from a mission or whatever. But then each individual department of crew could have their own little specialization. So the engine crew could either have a straight up bigger power output, so your power reactor or your engine bay produces more of speed or power. But then still has the chance of malfunctioning every so often, or they just have like a skill that basically removes the chance of it malfunctioning it altogether, but then doesn't give you like a speed or power increase, or something like that, like a buff and a debuff.
Yeah, fair.
It gives you a reason to specialize your ship even further. Which is, if you're not going to give us new ships, give us something like that. Make the current ships more dynamic and make us, turn them into anything that we kind of want. And obviously, if you're not going to give us, new ships, increase the current ships. Just, add more rooms to it that we can explore. I mean, if you give me a fully kitted out, like interior crafted Corvette or cutter, I'm going to be busy for fuck knows how long. Those things are massive, and I'm going to be exploring every nook and cranny of it. I'd take that more. I take that over new ships, to be fair with you. Let me get to know my Corvette a little bit more intimately. I want to see all the fucking rooms. I want to see the crew go about that, the duties or whatever. That'd be cool as shit.
That would
I'd
absolutely make the gameplay loop a lot better as well.
Yeah, I mean, I'd even settle for having like your own detachment of Marines or just fighters or whatever. So you could touch down on the planet, your hangar bay opens up, and like your fucking like just your ground troops come out the ship and actually start fighting the settlement on the ground for you. You can join them, or you can stay in the ship. Like shit like that doesn't even sound like it'd be too impossible to implement. I mean, yeah, it'd be difficult. It'd take a lot of hours. I'm not saying that, they'll do it on a Sunday, but this doesn't sound like something that, it wouldn't be possible to do in the engine. So it's kind of funny to see that, this and just fuck knows how many other cool, dope ass ideas you could come up with have been completely ignored for the shit that they have given us, which is just so bare bones, it's not even worth playing.
Fair.
Which kind of goes, kind of repeats the age-old argument of Elite is that, yeah, this is a game with massive amounts of potential that has never once been taken advantage of, which is just mind-blowing. But anyway, hopefully this new Target invasion gameplay loop or arc that they're gonna be implementing offers something new, something fresh, some more depth to the gameplay that we've already have. Obviously, it'll be a first, a good first step, and not this is the solution. There's a lot more that needs to follow up on that, but it would be a nice step in the right direction. I'm just hoping that if they do something like this, they don't settle for it. They don't call it quits after that, saying, "Yep, we fixed Odyssey." No. You haven't fixed Odyssey. This is a good improvement. This is a good addition, but you still haven't fixed it.
Yeah, that's all that is, an improvement.
Yeah. I honestly doubt that unless they make, and again, don't like coming back to this, but let's be honest, it is the main fucking thing people want. Unless they add spaceship interiors and gameplay to go alongside it, people are not going to be satisfied with Odyssey. That is and remains the big thing. They could come out with atmospheric flight like Earth-like planets and all that shit. I couldn't give two shites. Because let's be honest, yes, it's gonna be cool for a little while, but knowing Frontier, there's not going to be too much to do on those planets, which kind of goes against the whole point. If they add spaceship interiors with with a system like what I just mentioned, that would add a ton of new customization, new upgrading, new whatever to your ship. That would basically enhance the core gameplay loop that Elite has to offer, and add like almost, I'd say that almost add like 100% more content to it, because you're taking every ship and you're allowing it to be expanded and improved upon, to turning it into basically anything you want. Sure, it's gonna take a while in order for you to unlock every feature in it. Sure, which is probably going to be by design. But if you're not going to be adding more ships, which is kind of what the gameplay loop of Elite is grinding money, get more ship.
Yep.
If you're not going to be adding more ship, add more shit to do on ship.
Yep.
Add this possibility to make ship into something cooler. So yeah, if they do something like that, that would basically turn the biggest gameplay loop that Elite has to offer and add about 100% more content to it. I couldn't come up with a bigger straight up win for this company, which is why it's so baffling that they still haven't done it.
Yeah, they're just...
If they were to just come out and say like, "Hey, listen, engine limitations kind of prevent us from doing this," then okay, sure, cool. Sucks to suck, but yep, okay, makes sense then. But then I'd kind of follow it up with by saying something on the lines of, "But maybe it's time for a sequel then." A sequel to Elite Dangerous would be the coolest shit. Make it like take Elite, basically, because they don't have to like make it this completely new thing. They could basically recreate the galaxy with a new engine, put all the ships back in, make your save transfer over to basically a new engine. Yeah, you'd probably have to pay for the game. Obviously, it's not a free upgrade. that doesn't you know, that wouldn't irritate me. But as long as your save or something carries over, you basically transfer everything you have right now into a newer engine that probably would be able to carry out all the cool fucking features that we want. I mean, that would require a lot of work and effort on Frontier's behalf, and a lot of well, work, yeah. So no, not happening.
Fair.
And let's be honest, if they're gonna do something like that, there's no way in shit they're gonna let us transfer our saves. That's not happening.
No.
Part of me, well, I wouldn't be against it. I wouldn't be for or against it, honestly. If they go either which way, I'm fine. They let us transfer our saves over. Okay, sure, I'll do that. They don't let us transfer our saves over. Okay, sure, that's no worries. It would be a new game after all.
Yeah, we need to.
You know what we need to do?
Well,
We need to buy Frontier. Just fire everyone and just do this ourselves. Goddamn.
sure.
I mean, we're not gonna, you know, fire the people that are actually making the game. No, we just tell them what to do.
Sure.
I mean, you tell.
works.
I mean, okay, we just need to get a loan, right? A big fucking loan. Buy over Frontier, and just take over the leadership positions. You know, redirect the team to do what we want, and then obviously with the loan that we've got with the bank or whatever, you basically tell them our plans. Like, listen, if we do this, Frontier, they're gonna improve so much. This game is going to improve so much that you'll get your money back within like 2 years, and they're gonna be like, oh yes, okay, cool, here's your loan. That's how how this shit works. You give them an assurance, and they're like, cool, we'll do it. If it's a sound enough plan, obviously. Because let's be honest, if Frontier were to come out with all of this, yeah, the Elite would probably become the single most popular game they have, just straight out. There's no way in shit that I
mean,
believe
it already
if they add all of this, that Elite is not going to absolutely skyrocket in popularity.
I mean, it already is their most played anyway.
Yeah.
Looking at what else they have, which is laughable at best, to be completely honest.
Yeah. But I mean, you kind of saw this when Odyssey was announced. Like, the popularity spike in Elite was ridiculous. And it dropped,
Welcome back.
it just dropped like such a brick when it actually got released. It was hilarious.
It dropped like flies just dying.